afternoon, I should say good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts talk show. As you know, we've been off the air for a while, and so those of you who remember us, welcome back, and we want to wish you, first of all, Happy New Year. We hope that last year was as beautiful as you wanted it to be. You got all of your goals and all of your objectives taken care of. And this year that you've set your goals much, much higher. My name is Joe Pace III. I am the director of the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts. I'm also one of the music instructors there, as well as an instructor in math and English. Now, I want to just say that most of you maybe are setting goals, and we want to make certain that you set those goals high. We believe that, like a lot of people do, that if you set your goals high and you fall on, and you don't accomplish those goals, that you're going to fall on high ground, as they say. Anyway, so please set your goals very high. Now remember, this is an interactive program. So you are allowed to call in. You may call at 312-738-1060. And you can see that right there on your screen, 738-1360. Now, we are a music school, and we are a math and English tutoring school. So for those of you who want to jot that down, or you want more information about our programs, you can call this number, because we do have somebody working the phones. Mr. Theory Lewis, in fact, my assistant, would be more than happy to give you some information. Or you can actually call our facility, which is 773-891-1875. And if you don't get through, you can leave us a message and we will return your phone call. Now, I want to just say for a moment here, we have a brand new president. Oh yeah, President-elect Donald Trump is going to be president. I believe this is in 16 days. On January 20th, he will be sworn in as the next President of the United States of America. I believe that would be the 45th President of the United States. And as I'm thinking here, you know, there's something called Colt 45. And I mean, there's a very, very famous pistol, and it's called Colt 45, and so this will be the 45th president, and I hope I have that right. I'm pretty sure I do, because Obama is the 44th president. Now, some of you all have been very pleased with the last 8 years under President Barack Obama. Others have probably some reservations about that. You may call in and voice your opinion if you want to on today about that. I mean, we're willing to talk about all of these things before we get talking to you about the program at our institution. But that said, you know, Donald Trump will be our brand new president, and I think we all need to just get behind whoever is in the White House and decide that we are going to back them up the best that we can, and we're also going to do what we can in order to move this country forward. You know, all of us are in this together, no matter what race, what ethnic group, all of that. All of us are in this together. And each of us needs to do as much as we possibly can in order to make things work well for this country. So I'd say that 4 years from now, we all should be, I hope that we'll all look back and we're happy that this man was made President of the United States of America. And, you know, for those people who are pessimistic about this, you must recall that that he did. He is just an absolutely fantastic businessman, and I understand his dad had made him a loan of $1.5 million or something like that when he was a young man. And $1.5 million is quite a bit of money. But let me tell you something, it's not anything like the multiple billions that he's amassed over these decades as a businessman. So we all need to be pretty optimistic that now we have a businessman who's at the helm of this ship, and maybe we can look for some jobs, especially in certain communities. They got communities on the south side of Chicago that have as many as got as much as 40% unemployment. And you don't need to do a survey or some sort of poll. Just ride down the street and you see so many young guys standing around, doing nothing, and you know that if they had an opportunity to do something that they would be doing it. So anyway, we have a brand new president, so let's everybody say, okay, we got a brand new year. We got a brand new president, okay? So it's working out real well. So let's make some brand new resolutions and set them high and go for them and see what happens in these next 12 months. Now, I want to talk to you about our programming, which of course, as you know, we have we teach in all the instruments, okay? And I'm going to just go over them with you. Those of you who have been wanting to play an instrument, a musical instrument, perhaps you are retired or near retiring, or just an adult who's wanted to do something for a number of years, and you've been putting it off. You just haven't had an opportunity to do it. I would say right now you could make that one of your top resolutions. You could resolve that I've always wanted to do music, and so now I have this opportunity. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with the Coltrane Conservatory for the Arts. And by the way, we just had a recital about 3 weeks ago on December 11th. And we have 2 recitals every year. We have one in July and we have one in December. And we had this one last December, which was last month. And it was just absolutely spectacular. And all of our students just played just fantastically, especially some of our younger students. I mean, some of our students that are like 10, 12 years old, they were ready to go. And some of these students have been with us for 2, 3 years now, ever since we formed. And I mean, the results of their training is just absolutely outstanding. And believe me when I tell you, now we have another recital coming up in July. And again, they will be playing before an audience. They usually their friends and family members, and then you have other student musicians who will show up there. And you also have a great many people just from the community and other places come there. We usually have a good 70 or 80 people there at those recitals. And believe me, and that's more than I had when I was in college studying music. You have these recitals at the universities too. And I don't ever remember us having more than maybe 10 or 12 people, because you generally, most of the recitals are held either after school is out or doing some sort of lunch break or something of that type. And most of the students are gone doing something else. But with our recitals, we have a huge attendance for recitals, that is to say. And I want you to become a part of that. Now, the recitals are part of the training, because you're not going to be playing for yourself all the time. There are going to be times when you're going to be playing for an audience. And so while we don't make it mandatory, we encourage it. And 99% of our students get involved in it. Because what that does is get the nervousness out and that type of thing. And you're able to play anywhere, anytime for anybody. And so that's part of it. But let's get back to some of the things that we do. Like I was saying to you a moment ago, the first instrument, many people just love to. We have people come in all the time to play, to enroll, to register and enroll for the piano. And we offer a free assessment to anybody. Now, if you want to, know if this is something for me, is it something that I really can get into, we can bring you in for a free assessment. When we bring you in for a free assessment, that gives you an opportunity to get on the piano. We know exactly where you are. We know your strengths as well as some of your limitations. And we can get you going. We have many people who come in. Some of them bring their children in at 7 or 8 years old. And then we have people who have retired. Some of them have been retired for many years. And they're saying to themselves, I've always wanted to do this, and by gosh, I'm going to do it, okay? I've been putting it off too long. And in many cases, they turn out to be some of our best students. So we want you to be part of that, and we also want you to take advantage of what we're doing here on the day. Like I said, the phone number is right there on your screen. 312-738-1060. You may call us if you have questions, and also you may call our facility at 773-891-1875. Now, all of us are very trained, all of our teachers are trained musicians. I myself, I am university trained. I did quite a bit of studying throughout the years in and out of the different universities and colleges. I also did 2 terms at the Bloom School of Music. And so we're well trained. You can learn theory from us. You learn all the basics. You learn cadence, key, dynamics, meter, all the 3 fundamental parts, which of course would be rhythm, melody, and harmony. You learn all the things about chords and how they're constructed and that type of thing. You learn harmonic intervals, melodic intervals, and you learn how to play your instrument, which is very important. And we do give you exercises in between your lessons. For example, if you are studying with us and you only come once a week, we give you exercises to do in your practice time. Excuse me. We give you exercises to do in your practice time, and those exercises help you to become what you want to become as a musician. So those are all the things that we're doing. And like I said, the piano is a very basic instrument. This is the one instrument that you can learn how to play so many different songs on. You learn what we call the bass staff as well as the treble staff, because the instrument is played in 2 different staves. And this is what something that we want you to know, that you're going to be learning how to play in both staves, the treble staff as well as the bass staff. And this is the only instrument really where you have to do that in. There's no other instrument that you have to play in both staves. So you can learn so much about playing an instrument by playing the piano. And then we have our drummers. Now we take drummers in a little bit younger than we do some of the other students. We've had drummers as young, really as 5 years old, and they turn out to be very, very well. Most of our drummers will start on a practice pad, and then they'll go to the drum set a little later after they learn how to hold their sticks and play a few what we call rudiments, which is the fundamental and basic strokes that a drummer must make. And of course that instrument is very popular, and we do have quite a number of students in it. If you're interested in it, give us a call. Once again, 773-891-1875, and we'll get you going on that instrument also. And then we also do the trumpet. We do the trumpet, and we also do the saxophone, okay, and we certainly do the guitar. And so these are all instruments that are very popular. And if you want to learn how to play one of them, you better give us a call and leave us a message. Once again, like I said, 773-891-1875. Now, I spoke a moment ago about setting goals and setting them high. And no matter what you're doing this year, we want to just pass this little information off to you. Make certain that you do it in a big way, because we don't live this life but once. And once we're gone from this life here, we're gone. So we want to make the best out of it. We want to make certain that we live this life as richly as possibly can be lived. And that is to say that we get up in the morning time and we have goals that we're going for. I was talking to somebody today, one of our students, and they mentioned that they surely have some goals, because if they didn't have any goals, that means that they're not going anywhere. And that's so true. The fact that our goals take us somewhere. To not have any goals is like really going out of the house without having any clue as to where we're going to be going. Now that may sound a little silly, but I think it's a good example. Can you imagine walking out of your door and not having a clue as to where you're going to go? Okay, you just walked out of the door. So what happens is that your legs will take you anywhere. Okay, just take off, And if it's a wind blowing, like we get here in the windy city of Chicago, the wind may blow you in a direction. And there you go off blowing, and it's just like a leaf blowing in the wind. So we always have to have goals, and not just long-term goals, because, excuse me for clearing my throat so much here, but obviously it's necessary. Now, I need some water probably. Next time next show, I'll bring a bottle of water with me. But here's what I want to say. We need to have daily, and indeed maybe even hourly goals for ourselves. That's the way that we really get somewhere by the end of the year. Because those things that we do, they have something you call tactics, objectives, and goals. So the tactics are the small things that we do, whether or not it's getting up early in the morning and making phone calls, or just making up some sort of schedule, or just having breakfast at a certain time. Some people may pray in the morning time, like I do. We have, as a Buddhist, we do morning prayers, and then we do evening prayers, okay? So what I'm saying here is that, and then you have your objectives. Now, your tactics are designed to accomplish your objectives. Okay, that could be that something like, for example, this week I'm going to have a certain amount of paperwork completed for something that I'm going to be doing downtown. That's an objective. Now, the goal would be however that's going to work into your overall scheme for the entire year. I remember last year, I just getting into a new house that I purchased. And the bottom line is, though, I had to go through many tactics and objectives in order to get to that point. I really started buying that house, I think it was in December and I finished it up, or it may have been the latter part of November, and I finished it up in February. So I guess by that you know that that it took a while to do it. And I was a little shocked because I've actually bought 3 other houses before, and it didn't take nearly as much red tape, that I had to go through. But that just tells you what's happening in this economy. And since we had the housing market that crashed, we had the housing market went down, they made it more difficult. And it doesn't become something that cannot be done, but they want a lot of more paperwork, they dig a lot deeper, they do a lot of things that they used to didn't do. And so this is where we are with that. Now, I'm going to take a few minutes, and I just set that up as one example of how you set a goal and start working toward that. And in order to do that, make certain that I was able to get that house, I had to pay off some bills I owed somebody and all of that to make certain that I had a good, solid credit score and that my income to expenses, that was balanced out and everything. So it's so many things. But I really want everybody who's listening to have a very great 2017. And if you heard anything I said, that's going to help you to be able to do that. Now, with these last few minutes that we have, I just want to mention our tutoring school. We tutor in math and English. Now, we have a free program on Saturday where you come. It's from 12:30 to 1:30. It is a group program in both math and English. You can get involved with that, learn all the fundamentals, the basics and whatnot, whether or not it's in division, multiplying fractions, adding fractions, changing fractions into decimals. All of this stuff is taught in there. Now, we also have a private, a one-on-one program. Now, you need to call us to get more information on that. So you can call 773-891-1875. Or you can call us right here at the station. We're still here. Okay. And when I say private, I mean that's one-on-one for 1 solid hour, and that goes all the way up to the first year of algebra. And many of you who are working to get your GED can benefit from these programs, And of course, we're at 6353 South Cottage Grove, 6353 South Cottage Grove on the south side of Chicago, right across the street from the Social Security office. And so you can't miss us. But do take advantage of these things. Our English program is geared toward writing, okay? You do get some of the parts of speech and how adjectives play on nouns and adverbs play on verbs and, how to recognize a proper noun from a common noun and those things that need to be capitalized and those that don't need to be. You get all of that. But it's geared toward writing, for you to be able to know how to construct a paragraph, use a topic sentence, construct a paragraph, and only talk about that topic sentence all the way down to the end of that paragraph and segue into another paragraph and do the same thing. And this is a beautiful thing when you know how to do it and then summarize it, wrap it up, and there you have this big-time essay or whatever you're speaking about, So we want you to be sure that you take advantage of these things. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Again, our number is 773-891-1875, and we want you to be sure that you call that number and get in contact with us. Again, we're so happy that you're tuned in to us on today. We look forward to seeing you on next week at the same time. We will be on here at the same time on next week. And we wish you well. We certainly wish you the best 2017 that you could ever have. We hope that all of your dreams and goals come true in this year. And so please tell all your friends about us, and we look forward to seeing you on next week. Take care.